All right, ready? Do you have your 5 little cards here? You have a cup. Mine says Campbell's. You know, my grandma's maiden name was Campbell, so this was a cup that was hers, and now I have it. Anyway, you want something to put your cards in. And you need to have a frequency table, again, on your paper. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and pause the video and copy that down. Did you actually pause the video? Do you actually have cards? Don't just stare at me on the screen. You'll get a lot more out of it if you actually do the work, okay? Okay, we're going to modify the directions a little bit because it talks about working with a partner, but I know that not all of you might have a partner, and I know that many of you have parents who are working while they are at home with you, or parents who are helping your younger siblings, and so your parents might not be as available, so we're going to just make this an individual activity here. All right, so we got our cards made, and you got to put them in something. It said you could put them upside down on the table, but I just thought it'd be easier if they were in a cup or something. And we are going to use this chart, and we are going to choose 30 times, okay? We need to make 30 selections here, and we're going to make a tally of what letters shows. Okay, so again, for example, I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, but I picked a C, so I'm going to put a tally mark there, and I'm going to put it back in, and then I'm going to choose again. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and do that 30 times. I'm going to pause the recording, and you pause the video and you do it 30 times, and then we'll meet back up when we both have our tally charts done. All right, so here's what I got. I ended up with choosing C 5, 10, 15, 16, 17 times. I chose A 7 times, and I chose T 6 times. So that is my relative frequency. So you obviously are going to have different numbers there. Did you just keep playing the video and not even do it? Don't be lazy. You have nowhere else to be. You can't even leave the house. So go ahead and do the work, okay? All right, let's look at number 12, okay? It says, from your relative frequency table, estimate the probability that the letter you chose is a T. So when I look here, okay, what I notice, this was number 11, by the way, for those of you who like to have everything numbered neatly. I get you. My probability of picking a T, I picked 6 T's out of 30. So I would say I have a 6 in 30 probability of choosing a T. And I could reduce that, right? Because these are actually both divisible by 6. And I end up with a 1/5 chance of getting a T. Interesting. We'll come back to that. All right, number 13. If your partner had written a letter just once, about how many times would you expect to choose it out of 30? All right, so if someone wrote a letter just once, so I've got 30 options, or 30 choices, and I'm dividing it by 5 options, because there were 5 cards, right? I had 5 cards here. Then that would be 6 times per card. Okay, so if your partner, well, if you, because you did it yourself, if you wrote a letter just once, you would assume that you would choose that card 6 times. Okay. Now, what if you had written a letter twice? How often do you think you would have chosen it? Well, if you wrote a letter once, you thought you'd get it 6 times. If you wrote a letter twice, you would double that. It would be 12 times. For number 15, if you wrote a letter 3 times, about how many times would you expect to get it out of 30? Well, again, if a single letter, you expect to get 6 times. If you have double of that letter, you expect to get it 12 times. If you have triple of that letter, how often would you expect to get it? So you would do 6 times 3, 18. You would expect to get it 18 times. So I'm actually kind of pleased when I look at my numbers here, and let me tell you why. Because it says which number 16, which we can't totally do because we made the cards ourselves, right? Which of the letters do you think your partner wrote once, twice, and 3 times? Well, I already know what I wrote. You know too if you were paying attention at the beginning. But looking at this, I know that a letter that was written once, I'd get about 6 times. So I would say that A and T, there were 1 each, based on my information here. And I think there were none that had 2 each, because I would expect there to be about 12, and none of my numbers are even close to 12. And I would expect that C is 3 each, because look, a letter that's in there 3 times, we would expect to get about 18 picks of that letter. Look at, I got 17. Really, really close. So let's take a look for the big reveal. I have a T, a C, another C, an A, and look at that, another C. So my experimental data fits with our predicted probabilities. Pretty sweet, huh? All right, so that is all. You are done for the day. No homework today, nothing to submit. You do not need to send this in to me, just as long as you were paying attention and you were taking the notes. If you were kind of checked out or listening to something else while this was playing, that doesn't count. You've got to actually do the work. But other than that, great job, guys, and I will see you next time.